Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing another kit box unboxing, mainly just looking at the parts. Now the kits that we're going to be looking at are essentially two of the exact same car, just different years. And I showed these earlier in my monthly update video. I got the MPC 1/16 scaled 63 Corvette, which this kit here is, from what I know, it's about 1984 or 85 release. But one thing I do know, it's got to be somewhat newer, as it does have the barcode. So, bit of side views what it's got. Then, of course, got custom rims, then performance parts. And of course, during the 80s, it's from this part of the Golden Wheels opportunity, which was a pretty cool promotional thing for the day. So, of course, as you can kind of tell, can't exactly get the whole thing in shot. So, got that Corvette, and then I also got here the Night Stalker 67 Corvette Street Machines, which, if you could tell by the decal work, it's essentially the same thing but different scales, which I figured is quite interesting, as you don't really see that all that often. But we're going to go through both of these, and then for the 125th Corvette here, this is about a 1981 release, and similarly, how this doesn't have a barcode, so it's a fairly old release. So, I'll get to the big one first. Getting it open. Everything in here, from what I've been told, everything is here. So, first of all, here. Take a look at the instructions, which, from what I can say, is rather comedically small. So it's a triple fold, and then folds out again to 9 squares, which for a kit of this magnitude, it's quite common. It's quite entertaining how small it actually is. And so, looking here, we do have, does show you the optional, gives you the optional lace wheels that you'd get from stock standards, or you have the mag wheels. Then of course got some engine choices, going for a fuel injected version, or you could go for a standard 2-barrel carb setup, or you can go for, if you really want to go crazy, go for the supercharged version, which I'm not entirely sure as of yet what direction I want to build it as. But it's still pretty good. Then pretty much showing you suspension. And then supposedly, it says the kit comes with a metal spring, so by the looks of it, it's got working suspension. We'll have to see what the springs are, if they are in here. Then, opening up, pretty much just finishing off. Excuse me. Then, pretty much just showing you parts for the underside, the interior, then getting the chassis put together. And of course, with decals. So, let's see here. Now get this out of the way. Also did see that did also come with the golden opportunity piece of paper here, which quite interesting how it shows. It's got what you can redeem the tokens for. And of course, with this kit being a much larger size, came with 10 tokens. So right away you could get the HO scaled figurines, or of course, with the more kits you bought, the more you could save up. Which the goodies for these aren't actually which are pretty good, as you can get some figurines or you can get full kits, and then of course kit accessories. So that's pretty cool. It's a bit of a shame that you wouldn't have anything like this anymore, but can't really have everything. Now, the tube here was from another kit that I had that I just threw in here so that I could have for extra detail, which this doesn't actually come with the kit, but could easily source something like that out. And then going to some of the molded plastic. It's quite a good size to it. Got the got the seats. And of course, being a Corvette, you only get the two, which are fairly nice. Then of course got your seat backs. Then got your interior tub, which I can definitely tell right away it's much bigger than your standard 124, 125th scale kit. And it looks fairly nicely detailed. Texturized flooring. Bit of detailed on some detailing work on the underside, which is quite a nice feature. Then some more parts out here. Got here with the inner fenders, which is not interesting to see, as don't see too often kits with separate molded fender liners. Then you got dash, which of course is going to have extra pieces for inserting extra pieces in. And then got your radiator shroud. Then you got your exhaust manifolds here, starter, and serpentine belt, which of course fairly decent sized. And then got control arms, both upper and lower. Then steering knuckles, which suggests the car does have posable steering, which is a nice touch. And then what looks to be here possibly the steering box, which is pretty cool. Of course, and then also sway bars and steering rack, which looks really good. Then got some more accessory pieces, like got the rear axle. Got the rear axle here with each axle shaft. Then what looks like to be here maybe torsion bars. Then got drive shaft. Then fairly long exhaust pipes. Then wheel backings, of course. So those are pretty nice. And then got the frame here, which is really nicely molded. So got where a spare tire would go, and quite a few accents. So now looking at it, can definitely see how the interior tub would actually hold onto the frame. So it's pretty much two-piece frame. Well, it's a one-piece frame, but you got the interior, which enhances more of the details, which is quite an interesting way to go. And it does feel pretty much wrap your entire hand around it. Maybe use it as a weapon, perhaps. Then going on to some, so that's that, and then going on, got quite a few loose pieces. Like we got what looks to be either wheel backings or wheel halves. And then got your exhaust scoop, or your blower scoop right here. And of course you got your halves. Then the exhaust manifolds. Then not exactly sure what these black cylinders might be. I'm guessing maybe mountings for the axle, perhaps. Not entirely sure. I also got the engine block halves, which the engine itself is which, of course, fairly decent sized engine. If anything, trying to fit this into a 1/25th scale car would probably be a super big block, I suppose. But can definitely get fairly good amount of detail on it. Got transmission, then transmission, got some linkages on that. That's pretty good. Then of course got your custom racing seats, which are pretty nice. Then got quite a few loose pieces, like more pieces of the exhaust. And then one of the engine heads on the sides. Not so that. Then then the upper half of the racing seat. So these actually do look really nice. And I may end up using these actually, as they look really nice compared to like the standard seats. But I'm gonna have to see about that. Then, of course, since you get a blower engine with the blower, you do get the choice of two hoods. One of which has already been opened up with the vents filled in, and then your stock hood with the grill inserts open. So gonna have quite a few large extra pieces. And then of course got here the nice body, which perfect representation of the car. Now of course, something like this isn't really gonna be easy place to it really isn't gonna be something that's gonna be easy to store. So I do think that I'm going to need quite a bit of shelf space if I wish to build more of these. But definitely a fairly nice looking car. And a good size as well. And then, with that, finally getting near to the end here, got more of the chrome parts, which you got the mag wheels, or your stock spoked laced wheels. Then you got your knockoff center caps. Then choices of two steering wheels, the one a larger diameter, and then the smaller sports wheel. Then got your radiator fan. Then your intakes, carburetors. Then another blower scoop, which is interesting to see. Nice to see many options for it. Then you got the supercharger itself, of course, which will have to be built up. And a few other small pieces here and there, like your rocker covers, and then your oil pan. Yeah, so those are fairly nice. And then the last of the chrome trees here. Got in here, we pretty much got side exhausts, rocker panel, running board trim, then the front bumper, which appears to have cracked, but I'm pretty certain I could probably just glue that back together fairly easily, which I guess for the age parts do get fairly brittle, and of course, and seeing has just a slim bar on it, not really too surprised to see something like that break. So let's see if I can get the plastic off. I'll get the plastic off here so we can get a better look at the parts. Okay, there we go. Now, of course, here we got what may be the center console, and then the hood grill, then rear bumpers, front grill, then different side exit exhausts. So get the so yeah, by the looks of it, just easily it'll just glue back together, hopefully, but you probably will end up having the seam there. So yeah, whatever, but stuff like that does happen. Then finishing off in the box, here's some what I think might be some actual tubing that came with the kit. Of course, a bit of a larger diameter. Then do have another seat back that fell out of one of the previous bags. And then, of course, got your clear parts like the front and rear window and headlights, or not headlights, fog lights, and rear turn signals, which surprisingly are quite small on the kit. I'd almost think they'd be a slight bit larger, but I guess maybe I'll have to see about if they actually go into a bigger lens housing. So, but for now, just gonna leave those in the baggie. And then do have the tires that go with it, which are some fairly nice GT radials from Goodyear. Take these out. And then, yeah, here they are. Then these are the springs that come with the kit, which have got a fairly good amount of resistance and pressure on them. Yeah, so fairly nice looking tires. We'll have to definitely sand down the mold line in the middle here. So, yeah. So that's pretty much that. And of course, getting to the end here, do have the decals, which are fairly interesting blue, red, and yellow decals, which is definitely interesting color choice for a car, and a little bit unusual to say the least. So, not entirely sure if I'm going to use these or not, or let's pretty much see what goes on with these, or what my plans are. So, yeah, so that's pretty much that, and then do have some Michigan plates, which is nice to see, as a lot of the vehicles I often like to use Michigan plates. Not saying that I'm not from Michigan, but it just seems very nice to have stuff from there. And then that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for this. I'll get stuff cleaned up. I'll get stuff here cleaned up right away, and then take a look at the 67 Vet. Okay, so now with workspace cleaned off, got the Night Stalker Corvette, which of course this is the 67 Street Vet. Of course, with essentially the same bodywork as the 63. So starting off, do have essentially the same blue, red, and yellow decals, but this time around comes with Night Stalker bat lettering, and then MPC badging and some sponsorships. So it's a bit different than the instructions here. Definitely fairly larger than what you got in the 63 kit. Yeah, so looking here, yeah, it's 1981 Fun Dimensions kit. So it's a fairly old kit. And seeing here, the engine does build up fairly differently. How the engine block and oil pan are one piece, but you have the engine heads and rockers a separate piece. Then two-piece transmission, and a few, and of course with a few other parts, like got your dual carb setup, your serpentine belt with pulleys and alternator and fan. Then got rear suspension, got your standard rear suspension. Then supercharged option with the blower. And a few other couple things here and there. What is interesting is that, seeing here, it's also got separate spring system, but it's going to be a solid piece instead of an actual spring. And then, of course, got the down pipes that come straight out from it. Yeah. Then some racing accessories, which seeing here that this kit here is actually got seats molded separately, which from what I'm aware of the AMT 63 version, the seats were molded into the interior, which was an interesting choice, but not too much you could do about it. Then it does give you the option for a roll cage. And then got your engine bay accessories, like got your brakes, then what looks like maybe a reservoir tank, and then radiator shroud. Then of course optional grille choices, rear paneling. Then just pretty much just getting everything together, and then seeing here, apparently with this, the hood can be cut open or left closed. Or what I mean by that is that it can open up to have the supercharger, or just have a blank hood, which is pretty good if you want to go different ways with it. If you want to go stock, or if you want to go custom look. So that's that. Then of course the body, your standard 3.5 7-inch model. It's got a bit of dust on it, so we'll need a good cleaning. Of course, being a later year car, it's got the full window and not the split window, which, despite that, I do still like these cars very much. Then of course got a bag of black molded parts, which pretty straightforward. Like here got the racing seat belts. Well, one of them at least, and then steering linkages, the exhaust manifold, which is pretty nice. Which, looking at it, I may actually consider using these for a build, perhaps, and just build it as a stock Corvette. But see how it goes. Then got your wheel hubs, like you got your rear brakes, and then the front. Then got your interior tub with a molded in gas brake and clutch pedal. Fairly good textures. And of course, copyright texturing. Then got your chassis with the details details molded in. Then got more got your engine parts, like got your engine cover, what may be the transmission pan, and then your firewall with the molded in battery right in the corner. Then you got your entire engine with the top half and the bottom half of the engine, which definitely very interesting choice to have it molded like so. Then got carburetor setup and transmission, which is actually fairly nicely detailed. See if I can get a good look. It's got quite a good amount of linkages shown on it. Then of course you got your standard steering wheel, then drive shaft and half shafts for the rear wheels, then roll cage parts. Then you got your standard Corvette bucket seats, which interestingly have the backs molded into them, so they're one whole piece. Then you got your upper and lower body panels. Then got the springs. Then a few other parts, like you got your interior, which is going to be hand detailed. Then you got wheel backings. Then the rear suspension linkages. So they're pretty nice, especially for an MPC kit. It still looks really good, and I can't imagine there being too many problems, but don't exactly want to jinx myself, because I know some people here like to bash on MPC kit quality, but I find that more, if you want to build something, you gotta be with determination. And if anything, just don't see if you know what if you know what you're doing, it's gonna be fine. Then got a few more parts, like the upper half of the rear axle. Then front and rear window, which amazingly have survived the test of time quite nicely. So some scuff marks from just rolling around in the box, but nothing too major. And it's not like a tire was sitting on the glass, so that's really good. Then you got the chrome tree, which with the mag wheels. Then you got front bumper, then rear bumperettes, side exits, valve covers, and then your performance serpentine belt, which looks pretty nice. Then got the engine fan here. Then got a couple other small parts, like got the taillight lenses for the bezels. Then you got the tires, which supposedly with the kit here, it's got only 4 tires, 2 small and 2 large ones for the rear. Then got the last 2 of the parts here for the upper or lower control arms, and then front brakes. So that's pretty much what there is for the 67 Corvette. So, and then of course, if I take out the body, pull out the body again for the 63, you do see quite a sizable difference, which is quite cool, in the fact that if you really wanted to, you could build 2 of the same kits, but in 2 different scaled forms. So then now with the 2 different scales, you pretty much end up building replicas of the same thing. Or if you do have, by chance, an actual 67 or 63 Corvette, going from different scales, from like a 1/64th Hot Wheels size car, and then making your way up the chart to eventually the full size car. So yeah, that's going to be definitely going to be looking forward to this. So yeah, it's going to be quite an enjoyable build, of course. Yeah, definitely going to be very unique. And I have had a few people asking, where do you find something like this? Which, funny thing is actually, is that you could check eBay, but you don't see these come up all that often. But I did find these from a guy that I've been buying stuff off Facebook Marketplace. So, definitely happy to find a version of this, which from as far as I'm aware, the tooling is, it may still be around, but hasn't been seen in decades. So, very nice that I have this. And then a few other versions. So, yeah, so I think that'll do it for this video, and I'll hopefully keep you posted throughout the rest of the month. That I still have the Scania truck and trailer that I still have to work on. And then, hopefully, want to get these done. Of course, going to have separate updates for each of these cars. So, it's going to be a fun project throughout. And on that note, I think that's going to be it for this video. And until next time, see you later.